Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous Universal Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. We are coming to you live today. Today is Thursday, June the 6th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I'm sorry about this, ladies. I'm sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I apologize. I don't know what's. No. I apologize from the word go. You know, I apologize. You know, every time I start, the show, for some reason, I do it. For some reason, whenever I start the show, it's not on purpose, but I tend to yawn whenever I start the show. And that's funny today because I was talking to my mom. I was going to pick up my daughter from daycare. My mom said, "Hey, you know, it's something that I noticed that you do all the time." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "You know, I enjoy the show, but you yawn every time. That's gonna throw people off." And I said, "You know what? You do make a point. I do yawn." And as soon as I started, I thought, "Watch it. I'm gonna yawn, and it's gonna, and I know it's gonna happen." And it happened, and it just tickled my funny bones. So I, so I apologize. I would like to apologize to you, um, people listening. I would like to apologize to my mom for yawning every time I try. I don't know what's it about. There we go again. But you know, I'm gonna have to really get in here and edit this show because, you know, I am a professional broadcaster, a paid broadcaster, a professional. And when you're a professional broadcaster, you can't be up here yawning and all this jazz, you know, yawning and making noises and having pop noises and ahs and ums, and you know that's not professional. And you know, you want to go to the next level. So we are going to the next level. So we have to get the professionalism down pat. So ladies and gentlemen, no more no more yawning, no more laughing, no more giggling. We're gonna try to stay away from all that. I don't know how long. I don't know how long we're gonna be able to do that, but we're gonna give it a try. Okay. Today was a day of suggestions. You know, my wife and my mother, they was giving me some you know, some honest feedback. You know, you always need honest feedback on the show. So there are things that we are going to try to implement into the show. One one thing that we need to do, one thing that we definitely need to do is interviews. So if there is somebody that you would like for me to interview, if there is somebody that you would like to hear from, let me know. You can always send a message to the email tony@tonyrizano.com. If you have any questions, concerns, comments about the show, any guest ideas, any way that you want to help out with the show, you can always email me, and we will greatly appreciate that. That's number one. And so you can't say, so you got to clean that up. And we would definitely get the sound better. We would definitely get things, you know, more streamlined, more, you know, because you gotta because after a while, my wife did say something very important. You know, after a while, you can feel like you are getting a little on the stale side. You know, if you have the same format over and over and over, you know, you want to have growth. You want to show some You want to show the people that you are growing. You want to show the people that things are, changing, because things are always moving, things are always grooving. So you can't always stay the same. So, we need to, do different things. We need to, improve. There's always room to improve. And so we will do that. We will work on that. And we need more participation from you. If you can always email the show. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you email the show, Tony@TonyRizzano.com, or we will start doing some Q&A underneath the podcast episode. So if you want to look at the questions, or if you want to ask a question, go ahead, and we will mention you by name when you ask the question. If you ask a good question, we will send some. If you ask a good enough question, in the near future, we will send you merchandise, a T-shirt, the merchandise. We ain't gonna send you the whole thing, but we'll be able to send you a T-shirt, things of that nature. And one thing that I thought that before my wife and my mom was giving me the great suggestions, this thing I want to talk to you about today, it is controlling your narrative. Because you know I say I've said it over and over again, and one thing that I'm gonna do in the next day or so is because enough horsing around. Because you really want to, when you have something that's great, and you have something that you want to do, and it's great, and it's good, and you want to reach a bigger audience, but it's like, how can I reach the bigger audience? What you need to do is control the narrative, control what you can control. And how can I control people seeing the podcast, hearing the podcast, watching the podcast, reading transcripts from the podcast? Is I have to have my own website. It will not grow anymore until I create my own website. I have the domain, I have all that. I just need to go ahead and do it, and we will stop everything. We will stop everything that we are doing. We will not have a Saturday episode. We are going to, the next couple of days, we are going to we are going to build a website. I've I've started, and then I stop, and then I start and stop, and it's annoying. But I have no excuses. I have no stories. We're not gonna do any stories. We're not gonna do excuses. And this is for all of us, controlling the narrative. Because no matter where you go, you can go to any social media site. It's all great. It's all well. You want to build an audience, of course. You want to build an audience, but when you upload on, I give you an example. I upload on LinkedIn sometimes. I upload the podcast. There are 1,000,001 people on LinkedIn writing a whole bunch of rigmarole. You got to pay for all this crap. The more, if you want more people to see your post, you got to pay for it. You go on Twitter, you want more people to see your post, you got to pay for it. At the end of the day, social media is great and everything, but social media is not the end all be all. It's best if you can control the narrative, if you can control a website, control an app, have somewhere where people can find you and find you alone. You want to stand out. You want to be away from the crowd. You don't want to be in the crowd, buried deep in the crowd, because that is no good. You want to be on your own, out there. Say, hey, you go to the LinkedIn and say, hey, go to my website. You go to Pinterest, hey, go to my website. You go to YouTube, hey, go to my website. You go to all these social media platforms, hey, go to my website. You do a mail. Let's say you do a greeting card marketing campaign. You write people. You say, hey, you wouldn't say, follow me on YouTube. No, go to the website. And then if they want to follow you on YouTube, they find you in all those places. Great, but you want people to go to the website. Opt in to the email list. Sell from your website. Don't sell from YouTube. Don't sell from, LinkedIn. You try to get clients and all that kind of stuff on all these social media platforms. That's great. And you want to be present on social media. Great. You don't want to live on there. You don't want to hang out there. You don't want that to become the crutch, because there's a lot of people who are not making any money, who just post all day long. They post all these damn quotes from anybody and everybody. They quote Jesus. They quote Moses. They quote 4-hour work week. They quote whoever. Think about anybody. They quote Lazoo. The one step. The first step in the journey. The first step in the 1,000-mile journey is the first step. They quote that. They quote Benjamin Franklin. They quote all these people. All day long, all day long. They ain't making no money. At the end of the day, the goal is to make money. The goal is to figure out what you want to do, what service you want to sell, what things you want to produce, and sell it to people. You want to sell it to people. And the best way to sell it to people is not by trying to throw a net over Facebook. It's not going to work. You want to have a website with an opt-in page. They opt in, and then you could email people, or you could text people, or you can contact them. They read your articles. They find your stuff on your website. It's great to be on YouTube. It's great to get a YouTube following, but you want to take them off of YouTube because eventually you start to get a bigger name, and we all know what happens. People on YouTube, they get jealous. They get the green eye envy. Next thing you know, it doesn't matter if you sell Bibles, you'll be a con artist. You'll be a crook. You can sell Bibles. You can sell frying pans. You can sell drugs. It does not matter. They will label you a crook. Okay, there are people on the internet who make their living off of trying to say other people are scam artists, and so you do not want to have to deal with all that. You want to direct people to a place where they can hang out with you and you only. So the better you do that, the more you do that, the faster you do it, the better off you will be. It's one of the bigger mistakes I made. I had a website, but the website, it was okay, and plus it was, I tried to get. One mistake I made was trying to get too cute with the name. You don't want to get too cute with the name because it will set you back. And I believe it set me back. There's no excuse. It's my fault, and it is what it is. And we will move on. But in the next couple of days, we will build a website. We will have an opt-in page, and then we will work on all the, the reports and the free stuff and all this and all that. And we will build the website up. And you can sign up for the email list and all that, because even when I was trying to get people to sign up for the email list on the podcast, it was okay, but it wasn't great numbers like you want it to be. And so you can get better numbers on your website. You say, hey, go to the website. That's it. First thing they must do, opt in. That's what you want. First thing, opt in. You do that, you'll be better off. You control the narrative, you will be better off for it. I'll give you an example. I had a friend, he's on a reality show. They railroaded him big time. I watched this show yesterday, the other day, and they railroaded him from the word go. It was so obvious that they was going to try to hem him up, string him up, and railroad him. It was ridiculous, okay? And so, but it's not his show. It's it's somebody else's show, and that's how it is. So, the more that you can control what you do, the better off you will be. I saw there's going to be I'm going to watch this little documentary. I saw a documentary about wrestling. I enjoyed some wrestling back in the day. And it's talking about WCW. And they're going to talk about who killed WCW. And ever since the WWE, used to be the WWF, ever since they bought WCW 25 years ago, however long ago, 2001, so 23 years. Whenever they do a documentary, they always talk about how bad WCW was. They always talk about how they was in the red, how they wasn't any good, But at one point, way back in the 80s, the 90s, WCW was a great company, a great organization. They were like the second biggest wrestling promotion, and they had great matches. They had great people in the wrestling that was doing the wrestling. But, now they only focus on like the last. They like to pretend like the 80s and the 90s didn't exist, and they only focus on like from 95 to like 2001. So it's like they control the narrative, and so you do not want your narrative being controlled. You do not want to have to go to LinkedIn and pray that you can get a big old following in LinkedIn if you just post every day, and if you go to YouTube and post every day, and you hope to get a big old following, and you can get a big following, but also have your website ready, have your website available. Take the thousands of people off the YouTube and take them to your website. Take the thousands of people off Facebook, take them to your website, take them to your app, take them somewhere that you are the El Presidente, okay? You do not want to let somebody else control your narrative. I can go to LinkedIn all day. I can say, "Hey man, I write, man. You want me to, do some writing for you?" They don't care about that. It's 1,000. It's 1,001 jacks on on LinkedIn with the same message. Do this, do this, do that, do that. Everybody is everybody in the world. Everybody's the somebody in the world these days. Everybody's a genius in the world these days. And if you don't believe them, just ask them, and they will be able to tell you that they are a genius. And for order for you to get away from these geniuses, these no matter what they are, goofballs, no matter what you want to call them, in order to get away from them, you want to have things that you can control, like a website, offline marketing. If you have a store, it doesn't matter. If you want to send people postcards, get all the addresses, get all the emails, the addresses, the phone numbers, so that way you can contact them without having to contact them through social media, without having to send a message on Facebook. You want to get people away from that as quickly as possible. You can call them on the phone, you can have face-to-face meeting. It does not matter. You want to be able to control the narrative. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, get off the LinkedIn's. I mean, you can be on there, but do not hang around there too long. Do not hang around the Facebooks. Do not hang around the Instagrams all day. The water cooler, because the water cooler will only get you broke. And you do not want to be broke. Okay? And so we will be back tomorrow with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. I hope there was not too much yawning for you. Hope there was not too much and on for you. We will work on that. And if you have any questions, once again, please email the show, Tony@TonyRizzano.com. But until tomorrow, we'll be back with the all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And as always, everybody, peace.